I really like how he gets to the point of submission and then opts for the headshot. So it's like I'll lock up the triangle or the armbar and then headshot. Like you're like, that's sick.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Movies that feature jiu-jitsu movies, the action that scratches your jiu-jitsu satisfaction. It is what you need when you watch a movie and you're like, I want to see some real jiu-jitsu.
Like you're built for radio, bro. Shit.
I love it, man. I had witnessed some BJJ in action in a movie recently. I won't talk about it because Joe's not seen this film. But I was like, oh, that's jiu-jitsu right there. Ola's probably not even paying attention. I was like, look, he just did a scissors takedown. She's like, what? I'm doing Sudoku over here. It's like,
you're watching it at home, obviously.
Yeah, but it's just like I get excited when I see BJJ in movies because I'm like, I understand.
It's our thing.
Yeah, we know it.
I think all jiu-jitsu players do. You see it, you're like, I know how to do that. Yeah. Or the guy in my gym knows how to do that.
I nailed this guy last week with that same move, but possibly not as cinematically. And what had occurred to me is
we're not talking like jiu-jitsu documentaries, right? We're not talking smashing, like choke and shit. We're talking the films, the fictitious films that have got the fight scenes.
Because
action movies.
This is what I'd say. So there's not that many films that are just dedicated to this is jiu-jitsu. So there was a film back in the day called Only the Strong.
Oh, Mark Dacascos.
Right, and he also played, did he play Bruce Lee in something?
It was capoeira.
It was all about capoeira in Miami.
That was cool.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And so athletic, and you're like, wow, this is really cool. Heaps of cool Jackie Chan-esque fight scenes, but around the idea of capoeira.
Yeah.
Right? And that was sick. Jiu-jitsu, red belt, yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I got really excited because, what's the actor's name? I'm going to mispronounce this, but his name is Chitwell Ejiofor.
Ejiofor. Yeah.
Great actor, right? Legit. I think he's won Academy Awards now, Oscars, all of that. 12 Years a Slave, like awesome actor. Red belt, not the best jiu-jitsu movie in my opinion. Just my opinion.
No, I totally agree. So he was the interesting. I'm just Googling it now. I enjoyed Red Belt, oddly. Definitely didn't scratch the jiu-jitsu itch.
No.
But the name of it, you're like, oh, Red Belt. Like, that sounds gangster.
That's the jiu-jitsu movie.
And there is, like, he's an instructor and he runs a gym and it's like a big theme within the film. But if I remember correctly, it was really a drama. And it was just set around, Chiwetel Ejiofor. It was just set around he happens to be a jiu-jitsu instructor and that's kind of...
Yeah.
But the jiu-jitsu itself wasn't a huge focus.
No, but I think like Randy Couture's in it. There's fighters in it, right?
Is Randy in it?
Yeah, and at the end, he gets put in a head-arm choke and he has to like get out of it.
He fights one of the Machado brothers at the end, doesn't he?
And he like runs up over the wall to get out of this head-arm choke. And there's always a way out, if you think about it. I don't know.
Directed by David Mamet, who I believe has done some weird shit.
Anyway, to the side, why I wanted to bring that up is I believe there's other movies that will scratch your jiu-jitsu itch.
Wait, before we go to the ones that actually have it, what about the film Jiu-Jitsu with Nicolas Cage, wasn't it?
Which has nothing...
Which I never saw.
It has not... It's about some weird space guy who comes to challenge every however many 100 years.
It's like an L. Ron Hubbard kind of story.
Yeah, kind of like a Mortal Kombat-esque tournament. Has nothing to do with BJJ. It is rubbish. I haven't seen the film. I've seen clips from the film and I'm like, what am I even looking at?
Yeah, it looks terrible.
It's garbage. And, whatever. I don't want to speak bad about Nicolas Cage, but I don't care if he's a pensioner. I'll choke him out. I'll say, this is for the real jiu-jitsu. Like, anyway, let's talk about films that actually do it right. Now, what brought this to mind was I was watching a film which is sci-fi related, but there was a fight scene and the guy did a scissors takedown and I was like, yeah. He didn't go the heel hook, unfortunately, but he used that to get on top and then start beating the guy up. And I was like, that was actually like a really good scissors takedown. And it made me start thinking about more jiu-jitsu in films. And I thought about John Wick. There's not just jiu-jitsu, it's judo. He is like shaking dudes out like, oh, you're a Russian mobster? I'll shake you out with your leather jacket and I'll Sianagi you and shoot you in the face with your own gun.
Yeah.
And it's like he's consciously within all the choreography. I mean, he uses nunchuck, he uses everything, right? But
there's nunchucks in John Wick?
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Maybe the most recent one. He's like just slamming dudes with the nunchucks. And he trains under guerrilla jiu-jitsu. Oh, what's his name?
Camarillo?
Dave
Camarillo?
Dave Camarillo as his coach. And, the guy's done martial arts for a long time, kung fu, everything. But each fight scene is structured for him to fight like these weapons versus those weapons. Like long sword versus short swords. Nunchucks versus whatever.
Yeah.
Exploding shotgun versus machine guns. Like it's like a video game. But what is dope is there is actual jiu-jitsu in there. There's foot trips. There's leg locks, arm bars.
I really liked I didn't see the middle ones. I saw the first one and then I saw the fourth one, which is most recent, wasn't it? I really like how he gets to the point of submission and then opts for the headshot. So it's like I'll lock up the triangle or the armbar and then headshot. You're like, that's sick. Totally what I would have done.
I totally would have potentially
forget the braking mechanics, just position of control, blam.
Potentially shoot your own nuts off, blah. Oh. Anyway, he's got balls of steel. It doesn't matter. But no, what I do like about John Wick, even other than the excessive violence and he has to kill like 1,000 guys a movie, there is actual true martial arts in the choreography.
Yes.
Like you've got a guy using a samurai sword in that style. You've got another guy, he's doing something else.
It is somewhat closer to the techniques of that thing. It's still very divorced from actual fighting, isn't it?
But it's not real. But
and that actually struck me like I enjoyed John Wick 4. I did find it was like, I'm sick of seeing just more people just get killed here. But the people can be like, just soft. But I'm like, man, we got UFC and shit now.
Yeah.
Can't the fight scenes just be like, they can still be spectacular and the stunts and all that, but can't some of them just be a little bit more basic, a bit more realistic?
But the thing is, you see the things that make the UFC spectacular are not the normal jab. Oh, John Wick's working that jab. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, dudes have got machetes and machine guns and like I don't know. I disagree. I think there is a place for someone who's like, hey, all right, let's take what we know about real fighting. My counterpoint movie to the more spectacular, Jason Bourne. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want the best gear for BJJ, you need to go to pariathletics.com. These are our guys. They support the show. George, great guy, great creator, awesome colors, awesome styles, and also the best fit. It feels great. And that's the thing. It's not just that it looks good, it feels good. And the thing that for me, I love the most is I can wear the stuff at jiu-jitsu, but then also they've got that other side, the cool side where you can wear it off the mats. And they are our exclusive partner in apparel. If you want to get bulletproof gear, you've got to go to pariathletics.com. And when you buy anything at checkout, enter bulletproof20 for 20% off. Oh, yeah. The fight scenes in Bourne are awesome. They're close counter.
Yep.
Like close quarters.
Yep.
And it's like, dude's got a razor blade. He's got a book. He's blocking with the book, shoving dude in the neck. It's like he falls down. He whacks him in the head. He throws him into the toilet. Like, and it's all up close and personal.
Yep.
And he actually does choke a dude to death in the third or second one. He does use jiu-jitsu, even though they're like fighting, striking, elbows, all that. Anything at hand, right?
Yeah.
Dude's got a knife.
Yeah, we make it work.
Shit, I'm going to roll up a magazine. And he starts like trying to extend the weapon length to defend himself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's super real, but it's not flashy. It's just dudes kind of fighting to the death and very close.
Yeah, it's less flashy. Yeah, I still think it's of a similar vein though. Like, I don't know, you see them do shit like they're fighting and then you pin me up against the wall and then like I'm pinned and then I go like, ugh, shit. And then I like turn you around and pin you against the wall. And it's like, well, why did that guy just stop defending all of a sudden? Why did he just become weak?
No, I think
that stuff irks me.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you, and maybe, have you seen all the Bourne movies?
At least the majority of.
It's a while ago.
And I do really rate them. Like, you know, see, and the fight scene's like pretty sick.
Yeah. I think they're kind of closer to reality than, say, a John Wick. But we all know John Wick's going to be crazy over the top.
Yeah.
But so for me, I go John Wick shows jiu-jitsu and judo.
Yep.
I think recently I rewatched the Bourne series, so I was like, actually, there's some jiu-jitsu in here, which is cool. I'd forgot about that. But then it took me to like different movies, which I was like, oh, there is jiu-jitsu in there. Now, you may or may not like this, Joe, because I know there's certain films that you don't
talk
like
about
to watch.
Harry Potter or some shit.
No, I'm not going to talk about Harry Potter.
So I was watching this kid's movie, right?
Yeah. Anyway, this is just Joe's perception, but that's okay. So shout out. Anyway,
everyone was like, no, I'm not taking that shout out, bro. That's all you.
No, you bullshit. Do you know Harry Potter is What would you know? What would you know? Like a single most successful selling book series in the history of books.
Kids love it.
No, adults love it, actually. But that's fine. Yeah, it's a different kind of adult, but it's cool. What I wanted to go to is Black Panther.
Oh.
Why do I say this?
Is one Black Panther or is there two?
There's two. They did the first and then they did Wakanda Forever.
Okay, yep. So the first.
We'll possibly do a third. But in the first, when the character T'Challa gets challenged of being Black Panther from M'Baku, the big gorilla cat.
Yep.
He reverse triangles him with the overhook armbar. They're on the edge of the...
They're on like a water... It's like a waterfall.
They're waterfall, and he's like...
On a cliff.
You need to tap. Like, you need to choose to submit or I'll break your arm. And he's like choking him. He's got like the reverse body triangle from the body triangle, but like high up. And he's got the overhook on it. It's like legit jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And M'Baku taps. And then T'Challa becomes Black Panther, which dictates the fate of their MCU. So jiu-jitsu is quite important, even in the MCU.
What's the MCU?
Oh, like the Marvel whatever universe.
Oh, okay.
Like the whole world.
Yeah, right.
Like
okay.
If he didn't become Black Panther, then
that whole universe is under threat.
Yeah, everything would have collapsed.
Okay.
But yeah, he's actually like legit jiu-jitsu in that moment in that film.
So just in that kind of scene, there's plenty of other fights in that, but there's no more jiu-jitsu in that movie, really, right?
No, there is a bit of jiu-jitsu when he fights Killmonger at the end, but that doesn't determine the nature of the fight. Like,
right.
It's more stabbing and punching and that kind of thing. So you see a lot more striking. If you look at early action movies in the 90s, like look at James Bond or anything, they don't kick.
Let's go one for one. Bang, bang,
I punch you, and maybe there's a dirty elbow in
Throw through a window.
Yeah. But you're not seeing like Muay Thai leg kicks and stuff like this.
So here's a wild card for you.
Please.
And just when you brought this up, I was like, there's a movie from way back. Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
Mel Gibson and Gary Busey.
He's like tied up.
That could be where it happens. It's the final fight scene. He triangle chokes him.
Right.
Leg triangle to finish him.
Right.
And it's like, and so I just looked it up and he was training with Jorge and Gracie at the time.
Well, awesome that you say that because that reminds me, there's a moment where it's him versus the Danny Trejo of Asian dudes. He's like the kind of ratty, goatee, receding hairline mullet guy.
Yep.
Who's guarding him and he's tied up and they're torturing him.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
And he gets his feet around
Never
his
says
neck.
anything.
No.
Yep.
He's just there with a machine gun or a machete and he's in so many films. Henchman 1. Yeah, he like, not go-go platters him, but like gets his feet up around his neck and like kind of chokes him with his feet and then like twists and pops
breaks
the guy's
his neck.
And I was like, whoa. Mel Gibson with that furious mullet just sprinting down,
right,
pumping Marlboros.
Mel Gibson was such a boss in those films.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
That mane of a mullet.
And he's like the Craig Jones of
cops.
You know what I mean? Like he's an Aussie guy that made it there. There wasn't a lot of Aussies in Hollywood at the time.
No, he definitely broke through on that.
Yeah.
But man, he's smoking and just drinking coffees and just give a
You want to know a funny story about Mel Gibson?
Please.
Sort of indirect. We went to when I was, I don't know, 13, my dad was like, hey, we're going to buy a new pool table, like billiards. Not billiards, but a pool table, small one.
Table, yeah.
We always had one growing up. It was a shitty old one. And so dad's like, we'll get one. We'll get a proper one. And so we went to the shop. It was at Ryde. I remember it was like the pool shop. And we went in there and there's, a bunch of pool tables, and really nice guy came out and was like the salesperson. And Dad was like, I recognize that guy. And couldn't place him. And then anyway, sometime later that day, he's like, I don't know who it is. He said it's the guy who starred in the movie Gallipoli, which was a, war film.
Preliminary Aussie kind of film.
Yeah, and it was him and Mel Gibson were the two stars.
Oh, there you go.
And it was like, holy shit, that guy's working selling pool tables. But Mel Gibson's Mel Gibson. You're like, how interesting.
It can go so many different ways. Yeah. Man, it's pretty.
It was a great pool table. I strongly recommend. Shop's no longer there. But if you I'd give it a 5-star review if I could.
Do you find you get thirsty at training? I do. I do all the time. I'm a sweaty human and I need to hydrate. Now, the biggest problem is by the time you're thirsty, it's a little bit late. You need to hydrate. And that's why we got Sodi. Sodi is sponsoring the show. We've got all the colors of the rainbow. Great flavors here. We've got salty citrus, salty pineapple, salty berry, and my favorite, salty grapefruit. And they will be releasing 2 new mystery flavors soon. So why do we need this? It's going to prevent our muscle cramps. It's going to help our energy delivery. And it's also going to mean you're less tired, which is an advantage when you're training. If you want to maximize your jiu-jitsu and feel good when you're rolling, you need to get Sodi. And when you purchase, enter the code Bulletproof20 at checkout for 20% off. Oh, yeah.
Well, the next movie I wanted to go to, which is an obvious movie in my opinion, which is Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton.
Tom Hardy.
When they were brothers, and Tom Hardy is
all I think of that film is just traps. Tom Hardy traps.
And
it's just all like nothing below the waist. It's just all shot here.
Yeah.
Because they make him look big and he's quite short, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's pretty jacked in that one.
Short guys are.
That's true. That's true. But the great thing is Tom Hardy now very much into jiu-jitsu. But why I say that is Tom Hardy gets omoplated and gets his arm dislocated by Joel Edgerton.
Does he?
Joel Edgerton, the total underdog, steps in for his coach.
That's right.
Beats the greatest of all time, Koba.
Oh, is that the Brazilian guy?
No. Koba is Russian, and he's meant to be like a Fedor Emelianenko-esque, like crazy, undefeated, 100-0. Kurt Angle.
Oh, it's Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
How funny. Yeah.
I mean, there is a Brazilian in the tournament, this 8-man super tournament, and Joel Edgerton knee bars him. He switched to like an overhook knee bar.
Yeah.
And pulls out the win, which is huge. So even though this movie is about brothers and brotherly love and all kinds of other shit, ultimately jiu-jitsu wins that movie. He wins via knee bar, and he also dislocates his brother's shoulder via bloody omoplata. And you're like, jiu-jitsu wins. This is a great jiu-jitsu story. He breaks his brother's shoulder, and that guy might have to go to military jail, but now they're friends again. What a happy ending.
Joel Edgerton
has done so well for himself.
Another great Australian export to Hollywood.
But under the radar, right? Never had superstar roles, but then just...
Yeah, never became like the Sam Worthington in terms of his name, but
arguably
has a better portfolio.
Doing well, yeah, and also directing.
Performer.
Yeah, better actor, I think.
How interesting. Yeah, okay, Warrior. It's so funny, man, because, I don't know, there's the Jake Gyllenhaal film coming out. He was involved with
Roadhouse.
Yeah. Okay, it is Roadhouse.
It's a remake of Roadhouse, and Conor McGregor is playing.
It looks a bit ridiculous, actually. I'd kind of forgotten that's what it was, but I saw the trailer. I was like, this looks a bit ridiculous.
Well, he's an ex-MMA fighter. That's the new sell on it.
But so, I don't know. I'm like, it's funny that we had films like Red Belt, films like Warrior, when Jiu-Jitsu and MMA and stuff were really quite less established.
Yes.
You would think now they could do a lot better job of it because there's a lot more people watching those things.
Yes.
Especially the MMA side of things. But maybe, I don't know, no one wants to touch it because it's like, ooh, it's a hard one to do well. When it was a little bit more abstract, it was like, whatever, we'll have a crack.
Yeah, maybe. I think you've
now
seen
you got harsh judges.
No, maybe, but you're seeing jiu-jitsu in more fight scenes. Like you're seeing someone jump up and do like a flying triangle to a takedown, but then doesn't finish in a triangle. You know, it's just, it looks cool. Like, Scarlett Johansson does this takedown where she runs up, jumps off a wall, wraps her leg around his neck and his arm, and all the nerds are like, I would be that stunt guy. I would totally get my neck broken to have my face in her crotch. Oh, like, you know, like it's just nerd porn, right? She takes him down and then
It's your Harry Potter friends.
beats him in the face. No, I mean,
Like,
this
boys,
is just,
calm down.
it's just nerds. The nerds are everywhere. You don't have to be into Harry Potter to be a nerd. But that's what I'm saying. You're seeing things which are probably taken from jiu-jitsu, which are not. It's just
It's cultural misappropriation. That's what it
exactly.
is.
That's exactly what
It's like
it
the
is.
Italian restaurant that starts selling burritos.
What are you thinking?
You're like, guys, you're crossing some lines right now.
Get out of here. It's like one strong mafia meets another strong mafia. Who's going to win? So I was looking at all these different films. Now, when I did a little Google search and I was like, what? You know, what does the internet think good jiu-jitsu movies are? And there was one called Tokyo Zombie. Now, I have not seen this film. If you have seen this film, please, write an analysis in the comments. But it says that these jiu-jitsu enthusiasts use their jiu-jitsu skills to combat zombies. And I was like, that is one time when jiu-jitsu is not helpful. If there's one way you're going to get bitten, it's by like trying to triangle a zombie or like trying to you double leg a zombie, you're going to definitely get bitten.
This is made in 1999. Oh no, wait, I'm looking at the comic book. So it was a manga book first.
Right, fair enough.
Okay. Oh, Tokyo Zombie.
Yes.
ZONBI.
Oh, my bad.
In 2005, a horror comedy about two blue-collar factory workers who happen to be jiu-jitsu experts dealing with a ravenous, flesh-eating zombie uprising in Tokyo. Sounds great.
It sounds like it could be great, but like if there's one art that I would say would not be good for beating zombies, it would be jiu-jitsu.
Not jits, yeah. Stay on your feet, man. Keep the distance.
Yeah,
Keep working that jab.
Work that jab, work that teep. So I just look at that and I go,
Did you watch that?
I have not seen it. I read the synopsis and I went,
Life's too short.
I call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
Just go, no, I don't think that's the case. But then I want to throw to an old film, which is where I first saw jiu-jitsu in a movie.
Right.
And we've talked about this before. Enter the Dragon.
Oh.
Bruce Lee versus Sammo Hung at the start. And he
yes.
he armbars him.
He does,
They've
doesn't
got the modified MMA gloves.
Yep.
Bruce had those made custom.
Really?
Like fingertips exposed gloves. That wasn't a thing.
Wow.
He got those made. And, you know, it's cool.
That's that kind of opening scene, like don't look at the finger, like just prior to that?
Before that, the monk is like the head of the Shaolin order is like standing there watching with the wispy beard, and it's Sammo Hung, not as fat as he.
Or is this when he's on the island?
No. This is at the start.
Okay,
He's got long hair, and he's
Sammo's kind of slim.
Well, compared to his later form,
Yeah, less of a butterball.
But he does do a scissors takedown, and I think he ends up armbarring him, even though he like jabs him up, kicks him.
Wow.
He finishes him with the armbar. And then, I think that there's a bunch of jiu-jitsu throughout that.
Yeah.
Even though most of it is stand-up fighting.
Yeah.
And that, I saw that when I was a kid, and I was like, "Whoa, that's some magic shit. That's dark arts. What's he doing?"
So you were able to kind of recognize that as
I thought
something
it was
different and unique.
I didn't understand that it was Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But it was
jiu-jitsu.
It was jiu-jitsu,
purists.
but I just didn't understand what the hell's going on when you.
Yeah, see, I think for me, I'm like, I can't even, I don't know if if that movement in the fight scene even registered as a kid. I'm just like, I just want to see people getting hit.
Yes.
You know?
Which is
Why don't you f***ing fly kick him?
just knock him out. Yeah,
What is a fly kick? Just I don't care. Just in the air, legs.
splits.
Yeah.
Someone flying over there.
Yeah,
like that
then
looks
nunchuck his ass.
Yeah, that's right. Nunchucks all the way.
Man, how about that? Enter the Dragon was ahead of its time. You know, I did tell you when I went to Hong Kong, I went to there's a museum there that was hosting a Bruce Lee exhibition.
Please.
I'd hosted it for many years. It was coming to an end sometime around when I was there, oddly enough. And they had really cool pieces relevant to Bruce Lee and, storytelling and stuff. But one of the things they had, which actually brought it kind of welled up a bit looking at it, was his handwritten notes from his journal.
Oh, wow.
And it was his training journal.
Oh, wow.
And you could see they just had, I don't know, maybe half a dozen different 2 pages kind of spread. And you could see his notes on his weightlifting, and it was jerk, clean, you know, barbell press, bench press, like just basic barbell stuff. It had boxing training and it had notes on jiu-jitsu and little drawings of positions.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, this motherfucker like was actually putting it all together.
Yeah.
Like Kung Fu people weren't doing Olympic weightlifting.
No, not at
You know,
all.
they weren't doing Western boxing. Like he was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
But to see the notes that he had taken
And
was really cool. You could see each set, like how much weight he lifted, and
formulated the thing.
yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So incredible. Yeah, I was obsessed with Bruce Lee since such a young age. And to think about all the different things he brought together. Yeah, really as the grandfather of MMA, as a, you know, a style, like all styles together. But then also as an entertainer to break through into Western, you know, he was in Hong Kong cinema a long time, to then take that step and become a star in the US.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing, like really you know,
huge.
set that groundwork. But no, I think movies have a huge effect on how we see something being popular. And what we're seeing is more and more jiu-jitsu in movies, whether it's a Marvel movie down to like an indie movie. Now there was a Hong Kong movie many years ago, which was who's the guy who played Ip Man, very famous guy. He's got a really good back kick.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen.
Yep.
Donnie Yen. And he's got the best spinning back kick ever. And he was also in John Wick more recently as the villain, the most recent one. He played the bad guy who kills his master or whatever.
No, the most recent one was the big, tall Scandinavian bloke.
No, Donnie Yen is like a sword guy, and he kills John Wick's.
Oh, he's blind.
Japanese mate. Yeah,
That's right, the blind swordsman.
blind swordsman,
Sub-villain.
sub-villain. Not
Yeah.
not the big main
Not the
villain,
arch villain.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was in another film where there's an epic fight scene, which is very unrealistic, that goes for like half an hour. It's in a building construction site.
The 5-round banger.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate, it is the UFC Hall of Fame type shit. But they do every fighting style. It is sick.
Within that one fight.
Yeah, so the guy starts doing Muay Thai. So he starts doing Muay Thai versus Muay Thai. And then he goes, now I'm going to do Tiger Kung Fu. And so he starts doing those moves. And then he's like, well, I'm going to now judo throw you. It's like, oh, we're doing grappling now, are we? And they literally go through every striking form and every grappling form in this epic fight scene. And I can't remember the name of the film. Unfortunately, it was very abstract. I was watching it in a Asian supermarket. I was in an Asian supermarket trying to just get some cheap snacks, and I just saw it up on TV, and I just stopped, and I was like, this is the greatest fight scene of all time. Just
What shop is this?
it was awesome. So, I mean, maybe if you know what that movie is,
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Awesome martial artist all around, everything. And yeah, what I'm stoked on is that I am seeing jiu-jitsu more in movies, but what I would like to freaking see is an actual just good jiu-jitsu movie. A movie that's based on Brazilian jiu-jitsu, based on Brazilian jiu-jitsu, about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, accurate to the culture, and shows good grappling. That would be freaking awesome. Can we not organize that? Keanu, could you sort it out? Ashton Kutcher.
I wonder what it is. I wonder what, does it... I mean, we know that jiu-jitsu at its, in its regular form is not the most spectacular, friendly
Sure.
form of combat. I'm thinking for these movies, like, if you're a writer and you write this thing and then, it gets to the producers and they're like, it looks good, but let's get some gunshots in there. They're like, no, it's jiu-jitsu. They're like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. It's an action movie. I need some people getting shot, and then the writer's like, but I got this idea. No one's done it. They're like, we don't give a shit, dude.
But maybe that could be possible. Like, so say for Batman's not allowed to have guns within the culture of the canon of Batman. He can't use guns. He has to just punch and bash dudes.
Yeah.
Because that's his character for whatever reason, right? It must be a rich white guy thing. I don't know. But
how funny, he doesn't have guns.
No, he gets shot at and stuff,
Yeah.
but he will never use guns. That's
Yeah.
a really important thing there. Maybe there's a jiu-jitsu guy.
His parents were shot, weren't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allegedly by the Joker, but there's some conjecture around it.
Yeah, that was a bit... That's not what the original comic book that I read didn't go down like that, please.
But yes, I'm not into these childish things. Comic books.
I am when I was a child.
Sure.
I'm a grown-ass man now, fam.
Allegedly. Look at that, Leo. See how Batman doesn't use guns?
Yeah.
But no, I think what would be interesting is a jiu-jitsu character who defeats people with guns without using guns. Like a pacifist kind of, not pacifist, but
like doesn't kill them,
but just subdues them, chokes them.
Yeah.
And is
Sits down with them, talks to them about the error of their ways.
Maybe shows them how to work on their, their foot sweep. And gives them
right,
tips.
you keep making this same mistake. Let me give you a hand with that.
We should do it private. Okay, come by my school.
I can see it. I can see the storyline unfolding.
It'll be amazing. All right.
Maybe you need to write this screenplay, bro. You're a man of the arts.
I do enjoy these things, but no, I think
2026.
there's so many things you can do. I'm working on it. I got a jiu-jitsu superhero. I'm working on it. But that's it, my friends. And look, if you want to get behind more of the stuff that we do, and we do appreciate your support, we need you to like and subscribe. But not only do that, if you're listening to this on an audio platform, we need you to give us a 5-star rating. Why? Because that means more good people like yourselves find out about this, and that helps us a lot. So do us a favor so we can keep doing cool stuff for y'all. Like, subscribe, but also please hit that 5-star rating. We appreciate y'all. Oos.